Hey y'all, want to come on with a word for y'all while I'm on my walk. I want to hammer in the fact that we have to think independently. I want to hammer in what my dad taught me very early in my life, in which I have found tremendously helpful in navigating the seas of my life, and that is you got to take the emotion out of things. Emotion clouds judgment. Emotion allows you to be controlled. Emotion allows you to be manipulated. When you are able to take the emotion out of things, you're able to see them from an objective, unbiased standpoint. You're able to get the power in which that thing is there to convey to you. I'm bringing that up because ever since I did the video, I'm seeing on my social media several things surrounding Sarah and Hagar. And I don't know if it has to do with the video that I uploaded and it changing my algorithm. And because of that, all I'm seeing now is stuff related to Hagar and Sarah. That may be it. Or for whatever reason I'm seeing it. But I saw something today saying Hagar was jealous of Sarah. And I'm like, no, that's not it. So I want to speak to that, but before I do that, I want to give you a backdrop as to why I came forward and did the Bible study on it. Y'all, in all of my Bible studies, I never decided to do a Bible study on the story of Hagar and Sarah. Not because I didn't want to, not because I was tiptoeing around the topic. I never thought of it. I did not. And in doing the Bible study, I noticed that I had gotten 45 minutes into my Bible study, y'all. And I realized that Sarah had not gotten the promise from God when she approached Abram to marry Hagar and to have a child by her. I was under the assumption that Sarah had already gotten the promise from God, and she was frustrated and maybe doubtful that it would come to pass. And so she took matters into her own hands and approached Abram so that he could impregnate Hagar, but that was not the case. So that's just to let you know how jaded my ideology on this topic was. And I didn't want to do it. The day before I did the Bible study, what led me to it was I had saw something on my social media timeline that had spoken to a previous Bible study, a topic that I had done, a podcast or a Bible study, and they had elaborated on it. And they did so well that I went to her page to see all of the rest of her body of work. And there, this story of Hagar and Sarah was. And I thought about it. And it spawned my interest. And that's where the concept was birthed. So the next day I came on and I did the Bible study. And I was discouraged because I felt like I wasn't ready to do the Bible study. I had never had an interest to do it. It never crossed my mind. I got up and went and got some coffee. I sat at my desk and I said, okay, Father, which way do you want me to go with this? Usually when I decide my Bible studies and I get to this place, I open my Bible and I let the Bible show me what I should speak to. Bible, it stayed with me that I should reread the story of Abram and Sarah and Hagar, and I should continue on. I did that. And that's how that came about. I'm telling you, I was immediately empowered when I read it. And the story began to take on a life of its own. And I never deviated from the truth of what the text said. And myself and the power of God allowed me to convey that truth to you. So what I'm leading to is when I got to the place where, I did the Bible study and I'm looking around, I'm starting to see communications. And one of which was that of this jealousy thing. And I thought, how in the world does someone ever come to that idea? Are they rewriting scripture to fit someone's narrative? Or does someone really believe this? And so I want to expound upon that. The Sarah and Hagar story is not a story to paint someone as the villain and someone as the victor. This is not a survivor, abuser situation. As much as it is two people navigating seas where they feel very disempowered within. That's exactly what it is. Please refer to the Bible study for any ideas as to the foundation of what the story is about. But for someone to come to the idea that Hagar, or the Hagars in life, y'all, are jealous of the Sarais is ridiculous. And it discredits the authenticity and the pureness of the situation that God has put before us to be able to be empowered by. Hagar and Sarah were two women living at a time where women didn't have much power. They were only as good as what they could produce. All you salespeople out here, you could relate to the Sarah and Hagar story. They were only good for what they could produce. And at that time, it was your children. Your children made life better for you. They solidified you in your environment. They gave you presents. They gave you lasting presents. And they were help at a time where help was that was the only real way that you could get help, was through your children. And they were help at a time when everything you had to grow your own of, you had to cultivate on your own. So you would need help. And what better help to get? What more indebted person will be more vested in the success of you and your household than your children? So for women, having children, especially a multitude of them that were productive, was a crown that many women didn't wear. It set you apart. It meant that you were cared for. You had a physical protector in life. You had someone to go before you and do your bidding, take you into consideration. Because, you can have a husband, but okay, something could happen to your husband, or your husband could leave you and find favor in another woman. But your children, if you have enough of them, even if one leaves you, you have others that will be there for you and that will never leave you. Sarah was raised in a very unique environment. Sarai, she wasn't the woman. She came from humble beginnings. These are all Chaldean people from Mesopotamia, Sumerian type people. And she and Abram were sister and brother. So Sarah didn't have to go out and do the things that most women do to secure a husband. She didn't have to compete amongst other women for attention of men. She didn't really have the issue of competing amongst other women and keeping her husband. Abram was vested in his relationship with Sarah because Abram's relationship with Sarah was a family tie. It's a bloodline. It is, second nature to him. So she doesn't have the problems that most women like Hagar have. Hagar, on the other hand, is different than Sarah. She has to go and make a way for herself. She has no man. She's a maid. She is living in the king's house, but the nature of her job is that if a man is blessed enough to get the king's favor, she could be uprooted and shipped off at any moment. So she really had no stability. She had to live with that fact. She had to learn how to adjust around people. Just a whole nother type of temperament. And that Sarah just didn't know of. And through Abram, these two women come into knowing one another. And you would have thought that if they were both mature enough, they could have bonded like Naomi and Ruth and formed an alliance that would have been beneficial to everyone. How blessed would it have been had they been able to do that? The world probably would be tremendously different. But because they couldn't, and the reason why they couldn't is the topic that many people find a mystery. Some may label it as, one being jealous of the other. One could say Sarah was jealous of Hagar. The other person could say Hagar was jealous of Sarah. But I think really the root of it is that they were both two women looking for position in a very volatile environment. One woman looking for position to secure herself in a blessing that was of her husband's. She's looking to get in on this blessing. And the only way to get in on this blessing is through children. And even if she has to get a surrogate like Hagar to give birth to this child and then for her to take it, it doesn't matter. It'll solidify her as a mother. And a mother was everything. So Sarah and Hagar are living in this house. And Sarah, without ever asking Hagar's permission, says to Abram, I want you to go marry Hagar and have a child. And Abram says, fine. And while Hagar is pregnant, Sarah is seeing the fact that Hagar has been able to produce at a time when production was essential to your livelihood. Hagar is able to produce easily. And Sarah just isn't. And it worries her. It makes her doubt herself. It makes her second guess her ability to do so ever. She's looking at Hagar and she's saying, wow, Hagar is able to do this. And I've been praying on this for years, and I've gotten old. I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't even know if it's physically possible. And as soon as I tell my husband to go into this woman, she's able to produce. So you can call it jealousy on Sarah's part, but what it really is confusion. She's confused. She's never experienced such things. She loves her husband. He's all she knows. She knows what type of world she's in. And she knows what luxuries have been afforded to her by way of her marriage to Abram. Pitfalls she's had to overlook that many women didn't have the luxury of overlooking because she married her brother. And she's afraid because she doesn't know if this is permanent. Will this be my life? Am I bound to mothering another woman's child? Am I bound to reaping the benefits of another woman's production, blessing? Or will I be blessed with my own? Will I be able to stand on my own and capitalize on this blessing on my own, independently of this person? And because she's never been in this type of situation, she doesn't know how to manage it. There isn't anyone in front of her. Sure, she had a mother, but did her mother face the same challenges? Can her mother really relate to the challenges that are before her? Did her mother marry her brother? Or did her mother have to get out there and secure her own bag, her own husband? Just like the Hagars of the world. These be the things. And this is the climate in which Hagar is involved. Now you have Hagar, on the other hand, who was literally somewhat stolen from the lap of luxury. To live in Pharaoh's house at that time was a luxury. It was a prestigious job. I don't care what you were. And to be a maid in Pharaoh's house was a gift. If you're going to be a maid for anyone, you want to be made for someone that has a lot of resources. You're fed. Even in droughts, you're fed. people would run to Egypt during drought seasons. We see that with Joseph. We see that with Abram. That's why he showed up, him and Sarah. Hagar didn't have to worry about many things while living in Pharaoh's house. And only the qualified, only those that Pharaoh deemed worthy, when they come upon him in his house, would Pharaoh ever bestow such gifts as handmaids and maidservants and male servants too. And through trickery, Abram secured these things. Yet, even though word had gotten out that Abram got them through trickery and deception by way of Sarah, to appease it all with the gods, Pharaoh allowed Abram, to keep these gifts. And he and Sarah would leave tremendously wealthy. Tremendously. And part of that wealth is Hagar. So Hagar just wasn't somebody that they picked up along the way. She was a gift from Pharaoh. A quality woman. Because in order to be in Pharaoh's house, you had to be a quality person. You know how many maids, how many women in villages would have loved to have Hagar's job? Could you imagine? And now she's on the road with Abram and Sarah. Two people building a nation. Two people not acclimated to luxury. Tent dwellers. And she's sitting there like, what in the what? And she's looking like, I'm providing my service. I'm producing. I'm doing what I was taught to do. I'm offering my gifts. But what am I getting in return? I'm getting drugged. I'm getting berated by people that really don't even know themselves. Sarah and Abram were the first people God worked through in creating this particular house. Nobody had ever done this. And Hagar is looking like, I don't know what the heck is going on here. But I'm being mistreated. How do we know she's being mistreated? Well, the Bible says that Sarah dealt harshly with her. And the word harshly lets you know that she was probably physically abusing this woman. And if she wasn't, she was verbally abusing this woman. Antagonizing is not even a strong enough word. So much so that Hagar ran to the wilderness pregnant. She didn't have a choice to lay with Abram. Have you ever seen The Handmaid's Tale? Take a look at it. She was forced and thrown to the side, unloved, uncared for, talked to any kind of way, all these types of things. All because they didn't know how to deal with her. This is a grassroots effort. She runs to the wilderness because she's discarded now. She's gotten pregnant by Abram. Sarah says, no, I don't like her. Her attitude isn't good. She won't allow me to break her. She won't allow me to break her down. I can get another one of these maids for Abram to go into that'll allow me to break them down. So I'll get rid of her. We'll throw her away. She'll have her child. Hi. She'll have her child in the wilderness and let God deal with it. If God decides to allow her child to live, then it'll live. But we'll go on and figure it out on our own. We'll try it again with someone else, potentially. This is the philosophy. So Hagar didn't run away because she was jealous of Sarah and she couldn't get Abram to herself. Nowhere in the text does it say that she even wanted Abram. Nowhere in the text does it even say that she agreed to any of this. And if you watch movies and study the history of these handmaids, movies like The Handmaid's Tale, you see quite clearly that these maids were treated terribly. It was somewhat like a rape when they would go into these women so that they could reproduce through them. And the women, the wives of these men, would really do a number on them because of the condition that they were in. They were just not able to produce like the maids. And to be able to keep a level of authority, they would overcompensate in harshness to keep that level of authority. So, I don't know. I don't want to paint a picture of Sarah being wicked. I think Sarai was just as confused as Hagar. And she felt powerless. And she felt like, okay, I have to exude some level of power. My husband expects me to. So I'll do it in the way that I feel like I can, or I should. And it may come across as bitterness, slander, and just like an attack. When really, it was confusion, fear. And Hagar, the same way. She runs into the wilderness because she wants to go back to Egypt. She wants to go back. She feels as if her life has been gone down the drain since these people have come into her life. But she can't really say because she has no voice. And nobody cares. Nobody understands. And I'm sure she wanted to make the best of it. But there was just no way of doing it. There was no way for her to fit. Not because she couldn't, not because she didn't want to, but because the system in which she was placed in would not facilitate it. So she ran. And she runs to the wilderness. And the angel of God meets her there. And the angel of God blesses her seed like he blesses Abram's seed. These two people are blessed. She's bound to Abram and Sarai. But she's bound to Abram and Sarai in a way where she doesn't feel rejected. She's empowered. She's empowered by a promise that is bestowed upon her by the angel who sees exactly what she needs. He understands. He hears her without her ever having to speak. And he tells her, I found a solution for you. I'm going to bless your seed. Just like he told Abram. God told Abram, I'm going to bless his seed. God told Hagar, I will bless your seed. Whatever seed you have, I'm going to bless that. And it's going to multiply itself in the multitudes. Your seed, not Abram's seed in you. God told her through the angel, I'm going to multiply your seed. Whatever is produced in you, I will multiply it. And it will protect you. It will be the hedge that you have desired all along your walk. It will be the support. It will be the protector that you have desired at night when you're laying in there by yourself and you're thinking about all that you're facing and you're thinking about the possibilities of all these things coming about because you have no one to protect you but your God. God is saying, I was there and I heard you and I saw you. And I will bless you with children, sons. And not just any sons. He takes it a step further and he says, he describes to her the nature of the sons she will have. And these sons she will have a nature of wild men. Wild men, meaning nobody's going to try them. They're going to think twice before they approach you because of your sons, because of your seeds, all that you give. God, they're going to see that there is a blessing over what you give, and it is going to go before you so that nobody tries you. Nobody thinks they can come upon you and attack you and overtake you because you are a mere woman in a volatile world like you have felt before. You will not feel neglected nor taken advantage of again, because I'm going to bless you with sons, not a husband, but sons. Not somebody that can come and go and change his mind or can even die off, but with sons. So that if one doesn't, the other one does. And if the other one doesn't, another one will. That's the story. It's not a jealousy thing. Lift your vibration. Step out of it. Step out of that thing and stand in the integrity of the crown God has placed on your head and see it for what it is. It's a powerful story of two powerful women. Hats off to Sarai. Hats off to Hagar. Two women doing what they had to do to survive in a very volatile time. That's a story. That's my word for y'all today. Always looking to be useful. And I allow the spirit of water to flow in my life. Just like I allowed it to flow when I did this Bible study, because it was not something that I was like pondering all week. I came upon a post. And what led me to that post was some other post that had a direct relation to content that I had delivered maybe the day or so before. And in admiration of the person that created the content, I just went through her page and scrolled and I read all of her other content because she's such a good writer. I loved it. And I came across the story of Hagar and Sarai. And it inspired me to come forward with my story. Just as I look to inspire you all to take whatever you find in my content and multiply and bring it forward in your own way as well. You're loved. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.